Peace and ethos, this is SuperZombGBBQ, and today we have had one hell of an interesting 24 hours. First of all, we have the man you can't see, John Cena's Team Road to Glory. Now, he is the final remaining WrestleMania 33 card that you could possibly get without getting a pro. So now my guess is that the next event, the Road to Glory, is going to be a female card as the undercard. Maybe the person who wins the Money in the Bank on SmackDown this evening, because they're redoing the women's Money in the Bank match. In fact, it's the first time a Money in the Bank match has been on normal television, because unfortunately James Ellsworth decided to be a dick. But James Ellsworth being a dick aside, we are going to move onwards with the John Cena Team Road to Glory and also get ourselves our first WrestleMania future. I really built that up there. Let me know what you got with yours in the comment section below, and then we'll find out which one I got in just a minute. But first of all, we've got to talk about something big that happened yesterday. Now, this actually is something I've known about for a long time and blew up all over Twitter. And in fact, I had a couple of chats with people who mentioned about this, and this thing really blew up in a very short period of time. And this is something called a debug menu, or alternatively, developer menu. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what that means that's what the developers see when they are trying to test the game out, trying to give themselves a free pass in the game, for example. Make the game easier than what we get. So, for example, give themselves free cards. Now, I originally had access to this in the Season 3 build when I was over there in November before Season 3 came out, and they actually showed us how to get access to the debug menu on that version at that time. It was different to how you use it now. And somehow, since the update, some bright spark cat daddy decided to leave the debug menu in the game, which made it really easy for people to get access to this developer menu. And when they found how to get access to it, as you can imagine, they didn't just go, "Oh, that looks pretty," and put it down. They looked and went through every single menu. It allows you to do things that you wouldn't be able to do as a normal user of the game. For example, you could shorten Road to Glory matches. You can make a Road to Glory match end after 3 games. You could also skip procs. You can have procs just not happen. Just as soon as the ability fires, you wouldn't then have the normal finishers show up, for example, as we complete Chris Jericho and put our names on the list and go on to AJ Styles. But besides that, the biggest thing by far is it gave everyone access to Season 1 cards. Not just Season 1 cards, but Season 2 and Season 3 images, including the brand new throwbacks and the Hall of Fame cards. Any event cards that have been in the game. It was almost like it was a sweet shop or a candy shop if you're American, and we were the kids. We could just go in, choose whatever we want, and there was no cost to it whatsoever. Now, people access this by double clicking the settings button. I'm going to show you where you would double click that. It now no longer works, unfortunately, but literally all you have to do is be on this screen here and double click that settings button and you'd be taken to the debug menu. Now, there's another couple of things in there that looked quite interesting. For example, being able to give yourself free packs, free credits, but it didn't work. And there was a very interestingly named skip option, which I have no idea what it was, and I don't think anyone found out what it did, but I'm guessing you skip a lot of by pressing skip. There's other options as well. We could guarantee wins. You'd always end an exhibition game as a draw, which is a guaranteed win, because you still get the picks and you still pick up the win if it's a draw. But here comes the biggest part, and the biggest part is that you could give yourself any Season 1 card of your choice. Now, I'm going to go out there and say now, yes, I use this. I personally didn't log on to an account and use it because it wouldn't work for me. But someone else did use my account. A friend who had one of my devices was able to get access to it and logged onto the device and used this glitch to obtain cards. And it really didn't have that much of an effect on the game, apart from one thing which we'll come to in a second. But I personally didn't log on. In fact, it wouldn't work for me when I tried, and I had another device that had my login on, which I'd lent to a friend. He logged on onto that device and it worked absolutely fine for him. So he went and got me all the images and it's all good. And as you can see, I have now changed my champion to the local talent movement, because everyone remembers how great the local talent movement was. This card was in the PCC for Braun Strowman versus, this is Braun Strowman's first ever event card. Anyway, whilst you're in that debug menu, you could give yourself any card. Now, if you gave yourself a Season 2 or Season 3 card, you couldn't keep those cards. They disappeared, but the images were available for you to use. For example, as you see now, if I go to my WrestleMania cards, that I've got a lot of brand new images from the throwbacks and whatnot on these cards. The new Matt and Jeff Hardy throwback images as an example. We also have the likes of Goldberg's throwback image, which looks absolutely gorgeous, including Baron Corbin's latest Money in the Bank image. So that's really all you could do. But if you now change those images are no longer available for you to use, and the glitch has since been patched. So as a result, you lose access to those images. So the second that those cards change, you lose access to everything you obtained from that glitch. So I said that Season 2 and Season 3 cards disappeared. But what about Season 1 cards? Well, Season 1 cards stayed in your catalogue. And in fact, I now have access to some of the rarest cards in the game. Here is a legendary Chris Jericho that didn't win the PCC. This is probably one of the only Chris Jericho pros that exists on this planet. And now it's mine. Look how beautiful that image looks. Now, I can't change the Chris Jericho image, but you've got to admit, this is quite fun. And that's one of the best bits about this glitch, is that it was just fun. This bug has meant that a lot of people who didn't have access to these cards now have access to these cards, and that is one of the things that makes it fun. This legendary Dean Ambrose, one of the most popular cards in the game. Again, not many people had the pro version of this card, and there it is. I personally was never a fan of the flames in the background, but the image of Dean Ambrose itself just looks good. In some cases, these are the first time that these cards have ever shown up in a WWE SuperCard episode. But the coup de grace is this baby here. Now, this card, before now, there was only one of these cards pro'd. Now, we don't know if WWE SuperCard are going to remove all these cards off the people who obtained them, but I wouldn't put it past them. But I'm going to enjoy this moment of having myself a legendary pro Brock Lesnar PCC card, the first ever event card in WWE SuperCard. The pro is mine, baby! I'm very, very happy. Back in the day when Brock Lesnar had more charisma than he had speed. What drugs were they on? Just look at how beautiful that card is. I remember watching a Big E Dude episode of the early WWE SuperCard. That video got like 250, 300,000 views of the rarest card in the game. And now I have the rarest card in the game, although it's probably not the rarest card in the game now, if Cat Daddy don't remove these cards off of us. So, I have some brand new cards I'm very, very happy to have. I did also give myself some additional ones. I'm going to lock these in now. I gave myself this Randy Orton card as well. And now these images exist in my catalogue for good. So now I have full access to these cards whenever I want to. This Hollywood Hogan, for example, that didn't win his PCC, I got it from using this glitch. But what do you think of these amazing cards? I love that Dean Ambrose card. I am going to have many, many sweet memories about the fact that I got access to some of the best designed cards in the game and some of the rarest cards, especially when it comes to that Brock Lesnar. These two cards, well, Jericho was physically unobtainable before this date, and Dean Ambrose is only available to 5, and this Brock Lesnar Pro was only available to 1 person. Which brings me to my next point, and this is where I am slightly uneasy about this. There are a lot of Season 1 veterans, people who have been playing the game since the beginning, who have a lot of these cards and are probably not too pleased at all what they played for. These rare cards are only 5, maybe 10 20 or even one person had access to, which begs the question of whether WWE SuperCard will do anything about it. Will some people get banned? Absolutely not. Even the people who revealed the glitch, which originally showed up on Reddit and then showed up on Facebook and then showed up on Twitter from a couple of different Twitter accounts, and just to protect those people, I'm not going to say who they are. Bans almost certainly not going to happen, but I do believe there is a definite possibility that these Season 1 cards could disappear. So my advice is to take advantage of it whilst you can and enjoy it. You won't probably ever be able to do this again. Look how good that card looks. It looks great! But now comes to the point a lot of you are going to be waiting for. Let me know if you did use the debug menu in the comment section below. And make sure to let me know if you changed your champion as well, because I love the local talent. But let's get into the Fusion Chamber, because we have one more important thing to do. And that is get our first WrestleMania 33 Fusion of WWE SuperCard Season 3. We're going to speed it up, 630 credits. I personally want AJ Styles. Alternatively, I would be happy with Nia Jax or Carmella, or maybe Bobby Roode, but personally I want AJ Styles because the amount of images it's got, I think, would be quite interesting. Let's see who we get. Drum roll, please! Ooh, let's claim it. WrestleMania 33 Fusion, first one, it is! Oh god. Well, he's not finished with me. Braun Strowman is my first WrestleMania 33 Fusion. One of the best Fusion images, in fairness. Again, I would have preferred two of the females, alternatively AJ Styles, because AJ Styles' image just looks great. But Braun Strowman is my WrestleMania 33 Fusion. Let me know what yours is in the comment section below. And remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you also let me know about all those different images, and if you took advantage of that huge debug in the comment section. And, well, I guess there's only one thing to say.